This is the video for Pisces ascendants and moon sign for the year 2025. This year, moon sign Pisces will see the total peak of Saraswati, Saturn moving into your moon sign if you are a Pisces moon by 30th of March 2025. Now the details of Saraswati is very different for different people. Ascendant wise also, if you are a Pisces, you will see lot of changes this year happening. Now see, the thing is that this year begins with January, February, March, when Saturn is still in Aquarius. The theme of the month, beginning 3 months is preparation. I'll call it preparation for the changes that are bound to happen. As by this November, whichever ascendant you are, not only Pisces especially, because see, you are somehow the flavor of Rahu, and then first Jupiter was in Pisces, then Jupiter came to Aries, then Rahu came to Pisces, now Saturn, the game changer, I call it a game changer, is coming on your lagna. Now, a lot of things are definitely changing in your life, and you must be envisaging by now that in the coming year, there will be a lot of changes that you are gearing up to. Not only because Saturn is making a move in your lagna, but also, as you know, there is a lot talked about the amalgamation of planets, the stellium of planets on your lagna. Now, January, February, March will go in the preparation of what is coming in the month of April, May. Because April, May, June will be the implementation of all those changes that are already knocking at your door. By January, February, March, you'll be able to understand that the changes are inevitable and you have to go through it, as I say, a leap of faith or by God's grace, because Pisces is that. Then from April, May, June, you will be going through physically those changes, lot of changes, lot of planets on the lagna, obviously. Then as July, August, September starts, this is like you are a little bit fidgeting with the changes. After implementing them, you're trying to make a peace with it, which is difficult with Mars Ketu conjunction in the 6th house. So still you are on it, fighting bravely for that. Lastly, October, November, December will see a bit of Jupiter giving you a little bit of relief, in the sense coming into its exaltation and aspecting the lagna where Saturn already is. So this is the 3 months, every 3 months, a change is inevitable, and that change you are going through and you're trying to, put it into your favor, and you'll be able to do that definitely. Now see, in the month of January, as we start the year, you see that Sun and Mercury will be in Sagittarius, the other sign of Jupiter. That is your 10th house. Your 10th house will be starting with Sun Mercury. That is a good combination for the 10th house, a Buddha-Ditta Yoga. And Venus and Saturn will be in your 12th house, that is the sign of Aquarius. Now see, the main planet I usually watch out for most of the ascendants is the 8th lord. 8th lord can create lot of changes, and the changes may not be comfortable for us. Venus is the planet to look out for where the changes are happening, and especially if you are running a Venus Mahadasha or Antardasha. I mean, the Venus is in the governing position in your horoscope. You must look out for that. Mars is your planet which gives you a good, a good push to go ahead. being your Bhagya Lord. That is very important, and also the second Lord. So these two planets are main. Sun is a good planet with Jupiter. Obviously, your lagna Lord will go through a change this year 3 times. So that's why I said in the beginning of the video only that you can also take the year nearly in that way. When Jupiter will be in Taurus till May, then from May month to October 18th, it will be in Gemini, your 4th house, and then into your 5th house. So January month sees Jupiter in the 3rd house, with Sun Mercury in the 10th and Venus Saturn in the 12th. This combination will tell you that obviously maybe some good things or changes you are able to do in your 10th house. Rahu is there on the lagna, Saturn is still there in the 12th house. The flavor is that you are gearing up for some kind of an process that is burning your night lamps, and you have to go through it so that you see better days ahead. Nothing happens without a struggle. Jupiter, the lagna Lord in the 3rd, the best part of Jupiter, though Jupiter is not a very welcome planet in the Upachya houses, as we know that, especially 3, 6 and 10. But Jupiter in the 3rd house gives a good reach out to people, efforts, a processed effort, not very hard work. Jupiter is not the planet of hard work, and a lot of flexibility. That is very important of the 3rd house. 3rd house is a very action oriented house. Now Jupiter is not an action planet, but it gives us the flexibility in the mind to navigate through the process so that it helps us. So here you see Venus, the 8th Lord, into the 12th house. Some changes may be in your work because it is in conjunction with Saturn. Saturn is your 11th Lord, and it's the karma karak also. So some changes is inevitable. Wherever you're putting, whatever work or karma you're doing, you will change it from the month of January. It will go through a change. Now, February month, when Venus comes on the lagna and being in conjunction with Rahu, if you are associated with foreign things, networkings, companies, offshore jobs, or whatever it can be, or anything which you are doing, see, Rahu is all uncanny things that we do, and I think so. Since last November, Rahu made a transit into Pisces. You must have dreamt quite big about yourself. If you are running any Rahu Dasha Antardasha, it will be even more prominent, because I have not noticed yet a person whose Rahu is transiting on the lagna or on the natal, Rahu is there on the lagna, things small. They gear up for the big possible change that Rahu wants. Through the planet, it happens through the person. So these kind of changes will be even more enforced when Venus joins Rahu. Now this Venus joining Rahu in the month of February, and your Sun Mercury will be in the 11th house. So the 1st house and the 11th house is in good position as of now. Problem is that your Bhagya Lord Mars is in the 5th house, debilitated. As it is in November till 21st of January, by December it will go retrograde. Till 21st of January, it is still in your 5th house. And debilitated retrograde planet, Cheshtabal is high, no doubt. You will put efforts for your, it is a Bhagya Lord coming into Prarabdha house. You will put effort for your luck and fortune to shine. But this Mars going again back to your 4th house on 21st of January and the whole month of February. It will become direct also in the month of nearly the end of February. So 4th house situation is not very good, I'll say, because 4th house is about your, it is a comfort. It is your home. Here the situation is not very good, Mars being in Gemini. you can have some quarrelsome days, or some, fourth Mars is Digbala lost in the sign of Gemini, sibling problems, problems with mother or wherever you stay, some kind of these things can creep up. Your mental situation here does not get a boost from the Mars being in the fourth house. Now, February, as I was talking, you have to make some changes because Rahu, Venus is in Kendra and Mars is also in the Kendra, and Mars will be aspecting your 10th house. So some changes is inevitable, as whenever planets start functioning in the Kendra houses, the Kendras are the pillars. So some kind of changes we are inevitable to make. March month will see that Mercury and Venus both on your lagna. Mercury, Mercury, Venus, Rahu, 3 will be housing, Pisces will be housing these 3 planets, and Mercury is your Kendra lord. Venus is your effort and the 8th house lord, and with Rahu these are conjunction, having a very tight conjunction actually. So this is the retrograde, both are going retrograde, Venus, Mercury both retrograde with Rahu on the lagna. Now here the situation is that still Saturn is there in the 12th, and now by 30th March it will reach your lagna. Mars is still in your 4th house, direct now in the month of March. Now, retrogression of 2 planets which are not actually, Mercury is a Kendra planet, but Venus is not very beneficial for you, but you have to put in an effort because it has 3rd lord coming on the lagna. Thinking and contemplating what is the best way out, so that the next journey, as it begins from April, Saturn on the lagna, is in a calibrated and processed way. See, what is happening with the planets is that wherever this stellium of planet is happening, it is on your lagna. Already I feel Rahu has changed the course of your life. If you are having that kind of a dynamic dasha, you will feel more the pinch of Rahu on the lagna. It will force you to do things and force you to progress, or having some growth within yourself, and which will also show outside. Now, for you, wherever, for the other lagnas, wherever Pisces is there the concentration is going. For you, it is the self. So here it is you that is going and implementing and understanding that these processes need to be taken. Now these steps needs to be taken, rather, because effort lord is now the transition lord, the 8th lord is now on the lagna, and for a very long time. So here by March beginning, Venus goes retrograde. It is in the month of April, by 13th of April it will go direct. Mercury will also go direct. Saturn by that time will be reaching your lagna, and Rahu will still be there. Sun will also reach Pisces. Now the planetary arrangements are this much intense this year that sometimes it may feel like a maze. So don't worry about it. Every month, surely I'll be giving, because this year, every month there is certain changes. And so making of a horoscope monthly becomes very necessary, especially 2025. Now, you will see in the April month, Saturn in 0 degrees, Rahu in 0-1 degrees, Venus, Mercury also hovering around that 0-1, 0-2, 3 degrees. So all the planets are lined up in Purva Bhadra nakshatra, which is, in my opinion, quite a very transitional nakshatra. And that is why it is that one-legged patience that is shown with the deity over there. Now, this nakshatra pushes, it is a tumultuous, though it is lauded by Jupiter, but you'll see all the Jupiter nakshatras have certain things, especially Vishakha and Punarvasu is still, it also has in its, coming from back from the Punar, again doing the things, but it's okay. But here, especially in Vishakha, also it's not an easy nakshatra, very target oriented and very driven. Purva Bhadrapada is also a lot of austerity and penances over here in this nakshatra. Uttar Bhadrapada, I find a little, it is also, yes, it is there, but better than Purva Bhadrapada in certain senses. I have spoken about it in Pisces video of Saturn already. Now, so this stellium is happening in Purva Bhadrapada. You will go through some kind of a, the feeling is kind of when Mars goes in Adra nakshatra. It is a very big confusion in the sense a lot of changes, things are happening at the same time. This I'm talking about April month. And by 15th April, Mars, Sun will be going from your lagna to the second house, which is a good sun in its exaltation, second house. And Mars will again come into your fifth house by April 2nd into its debilitation. So here again, the 1 and the fifth house is very, very important over here. Ketu is there in the 7th house, obviously. So changes with yourself, whenever changes with you happens, changes in your partnerships are inevitable. You will start looking at people in a different way. Now that's a different chapter. The changes are happening over here, and you have to process it very carefully, taking care of your health, and also in a very intelligent way. Do not go mad at this point, because it can sometimes feel like that. So that's the point in the month of April. Now, because Rahu Saturn on the lagna is quite a conjunction with Venus Mercury. Now the thing is that in the month of May, the changes have extended itself further. Rahu going out of the lagna, that's a relief. Your madness, because Rahu is a mad planet, little bit subsides with Rahu going to the 12th house. Rahu is the ruler of Aquarius. It does good in Aquarius. And Ketu comes into Leo in your 6th house. Saturn is there. Mercury moves out by now, and you'll see that May month you'll have Saturn Venus conjunction on the lagna. I feel, if I'm not missing the dates, Saturn and Venus is on the lagna in the month of May. So Saturn is your, again, that 12th and 8th lord combination, 11th and 3rd lord also. So you are putting in efforts. Now you are slowly become serious. You know that changes that you're going through are not easy, but you are burning your night lamp and you're going through it. Maybe you are facing the challenges that is already there. That is the Jupiter going into your 4th house. You can see Jupiter is not very comfortable in Gemini, neither in Virgo. Virgo Jupiter, Gemini Jupiter, it's a little bit unhappy in the sense Gemini is a very concentrated sign for the self, and that is why the opposite sign is Sagittarius, which is long process of thought process. But okay, the house is 4th house. The sthan, this thing of the planet is good. The sthan bal, it's good because Jupiter gets exalted in the 4th house in original Kalpurush Kundli. So Kendra housing Saturn Jupiter, you can understand, as I told you, Kendra is the pillar. Your transformation through whatever thing, self can be anything, and whatever major changes is happening in your life, at least you have Kendra, Saturn and Jupiter, which will make you face the challenges. That is very important. Now, many people will be changing their job scenario front, professional, as Saturn is a professional planet. Jupiter in the 4th house is good for study related matters and rectification of the 4th house. Any event related to your house, any event related to your education, all these things Jupiter will help in the 4th house. Even if your mother was suffering due to Mars being in up and front with Gemini, Jupiter will give a relief over there also. Now these things will happen in the month of May, and as you are trying to settle down, Mars comes out of debilitation into Leo, firing in the 6th house with Ketu. Now this is the theme of June. Saturn is alone there on the lagna. Venus has come into your second house. Venus is, after all, the eighth lord. So it is like from the second house, it is looking towards your eighth house, investments and all this. If you're running a Venus dasha, or even research oriented things, if you're doing, that's good. But the theme of June is mainly Mars coming and joining Ketu in Leo. So sixth house is getting too much charged up, Rogrin Shatru. Okay, Sun is there in the third house. It can give you the decision power, but understand that this Mars Ketu combination in the fiery sign of Leo is too much volatile. It is extra fiery than required actually. So be very careful with your health, with your regime, with your workouts also. Do not drain yourself too much in your office environment, with the regular jobs. If you're driving, you have to be very careful. All these things are main thing about June month, is because in June Sun will be in third, Venus second, Jupiter, Mercury in the fourth house. Fourth house is good time now. Fourth house matters will come to a bit of settlement now. But sixth house is the main, your full focus is now on the sixth house, with too much energy being accumulated over there. In the July month, it is also same. Now, July will see the exact conjunction of Mars and Ketu. Mars will be there in Leo till 29th of July. Then it will move to Virgo. Whole August it will be in Virgo. Now here there will be an exact conjunction, July, and Venus will be in Taurus, third house, in its own sign, good. Sun and Jupiter in the fourth house. Mercury will get retrograde in your fifth house. Now see, all the planets have come out of your lagna, and it is making you take decisions. Third house is very active, with Sun being there, then Venus coming in. Before that, Mercury was there. Very active third house. Fourth house is getting a little bit of comfort. If you had problems related to your real estate things, your mother, your property, your any facade at home, or any kind of things that is it was riding, Mars was rising the temperature in the fourth house unnecessarily, it is going to settle down. With Jupiter being there, Jupiter will have a conjunction with Mercury first, then with Sun, then with Venus slowly. Fourth house things are better. Sixth house is your noticeable point over here, and then Mercury, your Kendra lot, coming and getting retrograde again in the fifth house, because Mercury will have again 3 retrogrades this year on your lagna in March, then in the month of July in your fifth house, and then lastly in the month of November in your ninth house. So Mercury getting retrograde in the fifth house, I don't know whether if you had, see, when Saturn is on the lagna, there can be problems in relationship, love affairs, in your official front also, as Saturn will be aspecting Sagittarius. Jupiter is also aspecting Sagittarius. You can contemplate, and your intelligence, though Cancer Mercury is not exactly the Gemini or Virgo Mercury, but you need to think, and Mercury gets confused in emotional signs, especially in watery sign. That's why, but Cancer is an intense emotional sign. So sort out your emotions and think what can be done in the seventh house, fifth house, because it has gone retrograde in your fifth house. So some process, thinking process, your mind should be clear now. What steps next should be taken, because from June, when you go to July, Mars comes into the 7th house. Mars the 7th, we all know that the sign is good. Virgo, Mars, Saturn, they do good in earthy sign like Virgo. But Saturn and Mars will be in the Kendra with Jupiter. See, there are big planets on the Kendra. Just think about it. Saturn on the lagna, Jupiter in the 4th house, Mars in the 7th house. You can get roasted, no doubt about that, but that comes to an aid. You know what? The beginning of anything, the process that we need to do, I'm saying this because I have felt this many a times, judging the planets and going through similar situations. That roasting nobody wants, but it happens when such big planets are in Kendra. again and again. It's the pillars, the 4 pillars, the 1, 4, 7, 10 is getting so much of energy from these planets. Be careful about the relationship front. That is important. Mars being in the 7th and then now crossing over to the 8th house and going to Libra in September. Relationship front has already may have seen a challenge when Ketu was there already last year, full 2024. Now 2025, Mars is challenging that position. As it comes in August month in Virgo, the energies can be a little bit irritated. Though Virgo is a good earthy sign, it's a seva oriented sign, but here Saturn Mars aspecting each other, lagna in 7th, Jupiter in the 4th, and Mercury retrograde in the 5th house, then going to the 6th house. Sun Mercury joining with Ketu. The thing is that relationship is 7th lord getting conjuncted with Ketu when Mars is there on the 7th house. You have to be very careful about relationship if you really want to sustain it. If you want to do away with it, that's a different thing, because Saturn, when it comes on the lagna, I call Saturn a game changer. Many people writes down in the comments that how just one planet. It does. Look at all the past years that you have spent. Don't you think that the Saturn alone, if you see just the Saturn transit, it gives a lot of changes to the area where it transits for 2.5 to 3 years, retrograding back and forth. So this Saturn aspecting Virgo, either you can rectify. Virgo is a sign of that also. Its patience level is very high in Virgo. So stay with it. Understand it's a time where immediate knee-jerk reaction is not required. Then you will see in the September month, Mars going into the 8th house in Libra. Now Mars in the 8th house is not at all good for your health also. So first and foremost, you must take care of your health. Venus will come and join Ketu. After its tryst in the 5th house, it will come and join Ketu by 15th of September. Again, relationship front, because Libra, wherever it is situated, it is a relationship sign. And Venus is a relationship planet. For you, maybe the 8th and 3rd. But after all, it denotes relationship. And its conjunction with Ketu in Leo is that watery planet is burning like anything. So this utmost caution is required when Mars is transiting from the June month to the month of end of October. June, July, August, September, October. Mars is transiting from 6th, 7th and 8th. Because Mars is a very important planet for you, and whenever it transits towards the lower part of your body, some issue with your health can happen, some issue with the people you're working, your relationship, and sudden changes in the 8th house, accident prone. That is very important. If you're driving regularly, you should be very careful about it, because Saturn is also on the lagna. Any mistake is it needs some rectification in that area. Mistakes are not that much allowed. Now, that is the theme of Mars coming into Libra. 8th house matter, it can be about getting all the 8th house things, inheritance related matter, getting unearned wealth, all these things also Mars does in the 8th house, but be careful with your health. That is very important. Then Mars comes by the end of October. You have by 18th October, Jupiter from the 4th comes to the 5th house, watery sign, Cancer. Saturn is on the lagna, Pisces. Mars comes into Scorpio, 9th house, watery sign, its own sign. Again, this Dharma Trikona is getting activated. Just see how the planets are working in 2025. Why it is a tough year. Everybody knows it's going to be a little tough year, because every planet is making a move, and the move is making some kind of change happen, whatever planet is governing. Now, whether Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, these 3 planets especially, if they are in your governing position, Rahu, Ketu also, it is a change that you're going through, sometimes in the Kendra, sometimes in the Dharma Trikona. Dharma Trikona is implementation, because the implementation of how to make your bhagya and fortune rise. 9th house Mars, traveling, putting efforts. It is looking into the third house. So all these things, it is looking into the 12th house also. Your Bhagya Lord on the and aspected by Jupiter. So this is a good condition actually when Mars comes into Scorpio. Though I am not a very favorite of Mars in Scorpio because it's a fiery sign in the watery environment, but it is the strategies that you make in the sense for your own development. That is the main thing. And Mars also is joined by Mercury over here. Then Mars goes into Sagittarius by the end of 17 December. Mercury is here retrograde again. So this is the whole story, Pisces. The journey starts from your lagna and comes till the 9th house, all planets covering, and then Mars going into the 10th house. It's a time for you to implement things. Mars does work good in Sagittarius in the 10th house. That will be the end of the year 2025, beginning of January 2026. It is I feel, if I can say about this year, one thing is that it's a lot of things happening in this year, and the changes are never easy. Whenever, that's why we are afraid of changes. We know changes make us, sit right and think about different things. The everyday process we have got accustomed to. We need to change it. Now the planets are gearing up in that way in 2025. We cannot avoid it. So go with the changes, lot of changes on your personality, on your way of looking at things, on your way of putting efforts. And that is how you can make your prarabdha better, your karma better, and obviously the fortune rises because of that. But Saturn on the lagna is not easy. If you can have an Aquarius friend in Aquarius, Saturn was there for the last 2 years, 2023-24. You'll get a good glimpse of what happened with Aquarius. So Saturn in its own sign is not easy. So how it will be easy in Pisces? It's not easy thing. I'm not saying that. But neither it's a thing to be too upset with. That is the point. Change will happen. It will take you to greater growth and better heights in your life. That is how I see it. So hope my insight on the 2025 year can help you in some way. Until the next video, take care. Have a good time, Pisces.